Why you should get really good at basic English before you're trying to sound complicated. Today, I want to share a tip with you that will change how you think about speaking English forever. If English is your second language or you're learning English right now, have you ever frozen in the middle of a sentence because you forgot that one perfect word? So let's say you're making pancakes at your friend's house and you need a spatula to flip them. So instead of you being like, can I get the and just use your body, you can use simple, basic, clear vocabulary that you already have to describe that object. You can say, hey, can I get that thing that I can flip the pancakes with? You sounded like a native, even though you forgot a word. So many English learners think this way. I need to learn super fancy, complicated words so people think that I know English. I need to learn advanced vocabulary in order to sound fluent. Or I'll impress people if I use big, fancy words. But guess what? Native speakers don't even do that most of the time. The truth is, what makes you fluent isn't big words. It's how confident and clear you are when you speak. So if you're trying to decide between saying, I am experiencing an emotional disconnection from society, or I feel lonely, go with the second one every time. Because the chances for you to make a mistake in that first long sentence are much higher than in the second one. And you have a much higher chance to sound fluent because your pronunciation will sound better. How many words do you have in that first sentence that you could mispronounce? I am experiencing an emotional disconnection from society. I feel lonely. How much easier is that? And you will hear that many times because that's how native speakers talk. Maybe you wanted to say the word antisocial, but you couldn't remember it. And you're like, I'm just feeling, what's that word? So if in the moment your brain went blank, you gotta continue the conversation. You gotta keep going. So if you're feeling confident in simple English, you can just say, I just don't feel like talking to people today. That's great. Nobody knew that you were looking for the word antisocial. So you're simple, you're clear, everybody understands you, and most importantly, you sound like a native. Basic English is not weak English. It's the English that people use every single day. What's wrong with that? When you listen to native speakers when they're in a cafe or on the phone, you'll notice that they use very simple, short sentences. Why? Because the goal is connection, not perfection. Let's say you forget a word like frustrated. Instead of freezing and saying, I feel, you describe the feeling. And you guessed it, you describe that feeling with very simple, clear words that you already have in your vocabulary. You can just say, I just feel a little angry about this. I tried so many times and it didn't work. Boom, you explained the feeling. Nobody knows that you wanted to say frustrated. The message was still clear. Remember, connection and not perfection? A lot of the times, even native speakers forget a word from their own language because they're not robots. They're not perfect either. So what do then? They describe that word so you understand what they're talking about. So how do you practice and how do you get better at this? Very simple, very easy. You just take every single object around you and you describe it. And you describe it in a way that's concise and clear. So the other person that you're trying to explain this to will get it right away. For example, this object, do you know what it is? This is a coaster. If you don't know this word, how can you describe it so then it represents exactly what this thing does? And I'm going to show you this and you're going to know exactly what you need to say. Hey, do you have that thing that I can put my cup on? Oh, you mean a coaster? Sure. Done. The conversation is moving on. How is that compared to, do you have do that with every single object in your house? Imagine you're asking somebody if they have this thing. Do you have something that I can write with? Do you know where's the thing that controls the AC? Do you have something that I can put these flowers in? Okay, and the last thing is the confidence trick. When you speak with simpler words and confidence, you sound more fluent. Why? Because your demeanor is more relaxed. Because you're not fighting your brain, because people can follow what you're saying easily. Remember, connection, not perfection. Fluency is not about using big words. It's about speaking without fear. So remember this, basic doesn't mean boring, simple doesn't mean stupid.